my friends are simps.
It's been a wee while since I've had time to sit down and make music with my eurorack, and there's one module in particular that I've been meaning to explore but just haven't got around to because of work and all that kind of thing. So today I found myself with a few spare hours and I thought it was probably the moment had come for me to do so. So I've been experimenting and written up a wee patch that I'm now going to explain to you because, I mean, that's the whole point of this fucking channel, right? So I'll spin you around so you can see what we're talking about. This is the NerdSEQ from XOR Electronics, or XOR Electronics. I am not entirely sure how to pronounce it. I apologise. I have to say, this thing is amazing. I came to the world of electronic music via LSDJ on the Game Boy, and this is based on the same kind of sequencing approach. If you're familiar with the Poly Tracker or the Dirty Wave M8, this is also similar, except this has been specifically designed to work and make use of the particular idiosyncrasies of modular systems. So for example, I've got a whole bunch of inputs and outputs here on mini jack connection that are modular friendly, such as clock, reset, trigger outputs and all that kind of thing. I love this thing. It is so good. It really fits with the way I think about sequencing, and it makes my modular make much more sense for me, and it's turned it into a big system I can actually control for songs, as opposed to, you know, just being a kind of weirdo machine that I explore randomness with. There's various expansions that you can buy in order to add on to the functionality that you've already got with the NerdSEQ, and I have purchased for myself a bunch of them. The first two, which are hidden away behind the cables in here on the left, give you additional trigger outputs. So this gives you 16 additional trigger outputs, and this one here gives you 16 additional CV outputs. So as you can imagine, this drastically expands the connectivity possibilities. In this case, I am using the trigger outputs here to control the drums from or on, I guess I should say, my squid sample up here. Now, you might be wondering, that looks pretty cool, but how on earth do you control that thing when it's over here in this case and your system's, you know, like this, and you're a lazy bastard and also a bit of a blind bastard who can't see anything? Well, that was initially my concern with this. I really liked the look of it and I've been following it for years, but what I didn't realise is that it actually has expansion modules that allows you to more easily control it. So for example, this one on the left here, you can see that I've got USB control. There's also HDMI output and composite video output. Now, what this means is that I can run this into an external screen. I've sometimes got one that sits here, but for this, I have run it into a capture card, which goes into my laptop, and I've got OBS, so I can literally sit back and, you know, put my feet up and make music like the Lord intended. Although, of course, you might be wondering, well, the controls are over there, so how do you control it? And that is where the other module expansion module comes in. This thing gives you not only MIDI DIN output and input, which you can't quite see because of all the cables, but it also gives you a gamepad input, which allows you to control it using, I think it's Sega gamepads or Mega Drive, I can't remember exactly, I'll put it on the video. However, I don't like to be constrained by cables, ironically, and so I got the 8-bit DO receiver and also this very nice wireless gamepad controller, which allows me to sit back and do my thing that way. Pretty cool. Now, in terms of the patch that I've been playing about with today, I've got Logic set up in my laptop and it is spitting out a MIDI clock via the ERM multi-clock up here, which gives me a nice rock solid connection to the DAW. It sends the clock into this shuttle control from Endorphin, and then I pass that through into NerdSEQ. So that's how everything is tied together. The modular patch itself is fairly straightforward. I've only got 3 elements. As I've mentioned already, the drums are coming from the squid sample. I've split up the outputs, so the hi-hats and the cymbals are on one output and the kick and the snare are on another. The kick and the snare are running into this feedback module's preamp, the KM1, I think. This is designed to emulate an old Boss mixer. I can't remember exactly what the model is just now, but this is to give it a wee bit of grit and distortion onto those digital samples. In terms of the melody, I have 2 oscillators. I've got this IntelliGel Dixie, which is running into its cousin, the IntelliGel Rainmaker, to add in some beautiful textural elements. And then I've got the Pittsburgh oscillator up here, which is running into the Plankton Electronics Jellyfish Delay. And then it is running into the Instro R-Bar, which is this glorious granular thing from the Scottish Wizards, to give everything a nice, I don't know, a nice kind of beautiful ambience. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned the cymbals, or the hi-hats, are going into one of my all-time favourite modules, the Qubit Data Bender, to give it a wee bit of a glitchy kind of that kind of thing, which is cool. When it comes to recording this whole morass, I'm running the various outputs into the Optex from Board Brain Music. I've done a video on this before, but it's basically an ADAT audio expansion which gives you various eurorack compatible inputs and outputs for your audio interface, meaning that I don't have to faff about with, you know, jack connections and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's it basically. I've just got a few patterns and I'm going to play about with them, and this is the beginning of my foray into the world of NerdSEQ. I don't know what else to say, so I'm just going to do it.